Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Charity First Handicapping Challenge, coming to you from California all the way out to the East Coast, where my man Carl O'Callahan is out there in Pennsylvania. We got a great show for you today. As usual, two phenomenal guests. I love them both. Both of them so versatile. They wear many hats, and they're here to share their insights today and give their picks and talk a little bit about themselves as well. Chappie, welcome to the show. We had a great show yesterday. Benny South Street, he turned his $300 into over $3,000.
Yeah, it was a great day yesterday, George. Good racing once again. Full fields, 10 race card, and my partner Benny brought it big time. He had the winner. I think it was the Phil D'Amato horse was his $100 win horse, and then he keyed the late double. His single was the 2 horse in the 9th race who jogged at 16-1. So like you said, he won over $3,000. So we got 2 great guests. Let's keep it rolling today.
All right. I'm going to talk about my guest for Team George O. I love this guy, and it's Carl O'Callahan. I've known him for years. He wears many hats, man. Of course, he's a trainer. Nobody is more famous for celebrating in the winner's circle than Carl when he won the Golden Shahid over there in Dubai. It was just epic to watch him. It was wonderful. I did my little imitation there, Carl. You saw that? Trying to do you, but you were phenomenal. A phenomenal trainer. Also plays the guitar. He sings. He part of his training ritual. He'd give his horses Guinness. Like beer. I mean, it was just, I love this guy. How do you not love him? Carl, welcome to the show.
George, it's good to be here. Good morning, good afternoon. What a tough guest you got, Christina. George, you're killing me. I'm out here in chilly Pennsylvania. Married now with a 3-year-old boy, Killian. Changed my life, but can't stay away from the horses. So I've got 15 horses at Penn, and we just keep tipping away 2 days a week there. It's a lot of fun, and Kinsale King's out there. I had many years ago, I claimed him at Golden Gate. He's here, and a horse that we bought named Money Tree that we bought. So the 3 of them are retired here, and it's good. It's good to be here. It's great to be in touch with you.
And one more thing, if you guys haven't done it yet, look it up. Chasing the Wind. It's a phenomenal documentary on that whole Kinsale King run, and you got to see it. It's just really wonderful. If you love horse racing, if you love horses, if you love a good story, check out Chasing the Wind. And Carl, it was just fascinating to follow you. How was that whole feeling there with Kinsale King? It just seems surreal.
It is. I mean, and we're very fortunate that Dr. Sheahy's daughter Laura got to record the whole thing. And I look back on it. We watch it a lot, especially with Killian, and to have the horse retired here at home, it's pretty special. But it was a good time. It was a fun time. Life was fast back then. I mean, years ago, I think Dan was still working. Christina's husband was still working with Mendel at the time. Mike McCarthy was coming out to. I had just left Pletcher's and so on and so forth, and it was just a whirlwind, but I learned a lot of lessons. It was a good time. The horse was really good to me, and I'm just so blessed to still have him, thank God. And it's nice that Laura captured it all on DVD, and it's on all the platforms, iTunes. It's a good, heartfelt story about the backbone of the operations and the blue-collar people, as I suppose you would call them. And so, yeah, it's kind of fun. It was a good time, fast life. But it was a lot of fun.
Well, it's a lot of fun to have you here on the show, and later on you're going to be picking some winners as well, maybe commenting a little bit about the exciting racing going on here in Santa Anita, and you can talk about what's going on over there in Pennsylvania as well. Chappie, introduce your guest here.
Christina Blacker and I, we go back a long time. We were been friends for years back in my days when I worked at TVG, and she's been a terrific handicapper for a long, long time. Full-time mom. I don't know how she does it. So, Christina, you might as well tell us, especially during these days when you're home half the time, you've got kids, yet you somehow find the time to do the handicapping and put the work in. And I can tell you one thing, George, all of us handicappers have egos. we don't like to listen to everybody. But when Christina comes on, and I've spent much more time at home watching TVG through these trying times, and Christina gives a reason for her play or a pick, I listen, I pay attention, I either add that in or go back and look at why I didn't have that horse in because she's just that good. So Christina, how you doing?
I'm good, Chappie. I'm doing great, and I appreciate the kind words. It's always good to hear from you and to kind of join you on the program. I appreciate the invitation. As far as how I do it all, it's a lot. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I kind of operate on trainer's hours. I mean, Carl's up in the wee hours of the morning in the dark, and I am too. I generally wake up when Dan does, 4:30, 5 o'clock or so, and start studying at that point, because anybody out there with kids knows that once they're awake, all bets are off and your productivity level just sort of plummets. So I try to get as much done as I can very, very early in the morning, and then just kind of carry out through the day. I drink a lot of coffee. I have another coffee right when I sit down to start the show, just to like make sure I got a little energy to get through it. And then we go to bed at 7, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. I mean, on a full like trainer schedule. I hit a wall when I get home. And I mean that because I don't sit down from 4:30 in the morning until the end of the day. But I appreciate what you're saying about, listening to other handicappers. Because for me, as I listen to everybody, to my colleagues, to our friends over in New York, to the on-track folks at Santa Anita and all the first racetracks, I can always let somebody else talk me into a horse. And I like that. I don't generally try to allow someone to talk me out of a horse that I liked or that I found something on paper. But I'm always willing to accept a new theory that I didn't come up with. And I think that's how you sort of have to be. Have your own opinions and stick to them, but be open-minded enough to see and receive something that maybe you didn't find in the first place.
I love it. And you're cutting out just a little bit in and out there, Christina. Hopefully we can get that settled a little bit better. We caught most of it. So Georgie, why don't you explain everything, what's going on, and how the whole contest works?
All right, so basically each one of our handicappers are going to have $300 in mythical money to play with. They're going to have 3 bets to bet on throughout the card. They're going to bet $100 mythical money, $100 to win on one horse during the course of the day. $100 in exacta. They can either bet a straight exacta like Dave Weaver, ice cold, or they can do a box or a part wheel. And the daily double as well. They can do a $100 daily double straight for $100 or a part wheel, $50 part wheel daily double. Now, the purpose of this is obviously to entertain our fans, to give you some insight from some wonderful guests. And both of our guests, they are involved in so many aspects of horse racing, from the training end to the handicapping end. They do it all. And all of it is going for charity. We're going to be donating money to Karma that takes care of these magnificent equine athletes when they retire. And if any of our handicappers turn their $300 into over $1,000, Karma will get an extra bonus from Santa Anita. So why don't we just kick it off right off the bat? You got $100 to win. Carl, which race are you going to and why?
For my win bet, I went to the stake. This is a very good card. Kudos to the racing office over there at Santa Anita. It's a tough race. And unfortunately, I land on Mr. Baffert. He's super tough. Rosario, Steve Anderson, one of the best agents in the country, on the right mounts, on the right day. But I land on him. The horse has been freshened up. Baffert's double tough coming off a layoff. Not superior fast works like you would see from Bob out there in California. I'm going to try and kick it off with him in my win bet. It's a very tough race, and it can go anywhere, George, anywhere. But I land on him.
All right, Carl's going with Kahira, number 3 in race number 8, the Calucan Queen, worth $75,000. The Dominican Dandy Rosario is aboard, and this one has won 3 out of the last 4 and just missed in the grade 3. So certainly a wonderful pick in a race that really came up, a little bit tough. So that's his win bet, and we're going to move on to you, Chappie.
Yeah, and I also think Coheras can be a little bit tractable. Last time broke from the rail, but so kind of had no way to go but straight to the front. So I think drawing a little bit farther outside should help as well. Christina, where is your $100 play and why?
I will go to the race just prior, actually, for my win bet. So I'll go to race number 7, which is a 1-mile turf event, $40,000 claimers. There's a lot of speed in this race. And that has pretty much been the place to be, I think, on the turf course. So far, you've wanted to show some early speed. The 3 is dropping in class, and she, I think, is going to put a lot of pressure on the 1. So for that reason, I took Kitty Hawk Last, the 4, as my win bet today. She keeps getting better. I talk a lot about their graph numbers and about those patterns. Her numbers are improving with each and every start right now. And I think she's tactical enough that she won't be too far off the pace, but she'll be right there behind the 1 and the 3 in the early stages and could maybe capitalize on something if they decide to come back a little bit. I do think Nice Ice was tiring in her last race. It looked like that from her replay. And Ellie Arroway is classy, but she's dropping in class today, and she's a filly or a mare that looks like she could maybe earn some minor black type at some point. So I'm going to sort of tread lightly with her and end up on the 4. She did have trouble in her last race. She was very wide. I think that is a much better than looked second place effort for her last out.
All right, so the 4 Kitty Hawk Glass should sit the Garden Trip at a nice 8-1 right off the leaders, and ran 2 good races the last 2 times out with Hector Palma. So that's our $100 win bet. Georgie, back to you, buddy.
All right, before we get to your pick there, I don't know if you've been following the races here at Santa Anita. I'm pretty sure you have. You're a trainer. You always had to try to pick jockeys. We just got Kitty Hawk Last with Christina choosing JJ Hernandez, who is atop the leaderboard and really impressive. But down the line, Carl, we have got one of the best jockey colonies I've seen here in a long time. Plus, they're all really nice guys. Can you tell me, what are your thoughts on this spectacular jockey colony that we have here?
Listen, I go right back to Juan Hernandez. He rode many races for me up at Golden Gate when he was there. I was unfortunately out of LA when he came down to Santa Anita. Superb, talented rider. But, I mean, your jockeys, they're the best in the country besides New York. I mean, where else are you going to find the top riders out there? I love Christina's pick going back to Kitty Hawk Last. I had her marked here down with my 7. I think it's a sneaky race. Speed is very dominant in California, as everybody knows. The rail is out 10 feet today. It carries just a wee bit, but I think Christina might be onto something there, lads. I'm telling you, that's an 8-1 shot. Don't forget it. Got it right.
All right, we're going to need you to get a wee more money for us, just a wee more money for us by getting an exacta. You got a $100 exacta. What race are you going to and why?
Where did I go? Did I go to the first race? I did. I went to the first race. Listen, I love Hayden. Mike McCarthy is on fire, lads. Let me tell you something about McCarthy. I worked with McCarthy with Todd Pletcher and Simon Callahan. We were there together for many years. Mike McCarthy is sneaky. He's a talented, very quiet gentleman. But I went with the 4-8, quick and dirty, with Mike McCarthy and Gonzalez. And I went all the way outside to Paddy Gallagher. Why? Mike Smith rides the Paddy Gallagher horse. I'm kind of curious to why he came off of McCarthy's horse, which is the 4 he rode last time. The horse ran second. Ran an okay number from $80,000. I think the horse is going to be laying a little bit close. But McCarthy, Gallagher, they're good friends. They've been friends for many years. I think that's my ice cold exacta, folks. I'm going to skip Mandela's horse. He's had 4 or 5 chances there, but I think I'm pretty good there. I'm content with that pick.
All right, sounds like McCarthy to Gallagher, and Patty had a nice winner yesterday as well. So certainly he's doing well. Mike Smith, you pretty much, he had the choice, it seems, right? And you got both of them, quick and dirty, which reminds me of Chappie. Go over there, Chappie. What do you got?
All right, if he comes up with that exacta in the first, we're going to be chasing some money. So, Christina, where are you going with your exacta and why?
I actually went to the same race, and I love the 8. I love Basil Flavor. Wow. So we are together on this one. And I'm going to tell you why I love Basil Flavor. It was the weirdest race for her in her debut. She completely ran in spots. She had to stop and start so many times. She did not have any room to run. And then at one point, and this wasn't Drana Van Dyke's fault, but he was in behind horses and he had to completely yank her to the outside to get clear sailing down the racetrack. Once she saw daylight, she had a really nice turn of foot. I think if Mike Smith can keep her in the clear, she's a win candidate today. I mean, I'd bet her to win too, but because there are so many classy fillies in this race, I wanted to use this as the exacta race. I used Golden in my exacta. So just to the inside of the horse Carl has, he has the 4, I have the 3. I thought for her career debut, she had a really nice trip, just snuck through along the inside. She had a good hustle that day too, though. She ended up third to Carpe Fortuna. Carpe Fortuna came back to run third in the Blue Norther, which I think came up really tough behind Quattrell and Javonica. So same race. I love the 8 as well. I think we would almost recommend anybody out there just bet the 8 to win, because if she can overcome that trip last time, she's going to be the price today. But I'll pair her up with the 3 for the exact box.
Yeah, Christina, a lot of people obviously watch you every day and respect your picks. And if you had some advice for people when looking at, I know you do a lot of homework. Obviously, you said you use the Thorograph sheets. That's a little more advanced, but people can learn how to use that. Are you big on replays? What are some of the factors you really use that are important in handicapping?
Yeah, I would say that my number one tool is replays. I watch a lot of replays. I think that is, for me personally, where I gain the most knowledge about a horse and where I think that they're going to be successful. And I don't always watch just the last race. Sometimes I'm going back a couple races to say the last time they were in a turf route, because we're turf routing today. I want to see how well they do what they're being asked of on that particular race day. Then I use Thorograph would probably be one of my next tool in line. And I use both of those every single day. I use Stats Race Lens for a lot of my chart work because it cuts out a lot of the time that you would need to try and find those horses in those key races. It actually tells you. You get these little notifications about a key race. And then as you open that chart, it circles all the winners. It tells you right there in the body of the chart if they won at a higher level, at a lower level. So you don't have to be clicking around to so many different races to kind of get a clear picture of the chart work from Stats. I also use Stats for some of their late pace figures. I love those in turf racing, just in terms of how fast a horse finishes their race. That's on all of the True Odds pages. Turf sprints, I want to see that figure. Any kind of turf route, I want to see it. And your teammate from last week, Trip Note Pros, that's actually one of my new kind of tools in the wheelhouse. I really like that. And I've just started to kind of dive into it because it saves me a little time on that first step. For me personally, I still want to watch a lot of the replays myself, but I do want to be kind of flagged in terms of which ones I should go to, because we've got 10 races an hour. So if I'm on a 4-hour show and you're talking about 40 races, I'm never going to get through it all by myself. I need help, and websites like that have been great to kind of cut down on some of the time.
Yeah, they put so much time and effort into the work. And like you said, you might have missed something, and there's no way you can go back and watch every replay. So they might give you something, let's take a look at that race and go back. And then another thing, I think all of you guys would agree, what's important is, besides just the raw numbers, let's go back to like race 7, Kitty Hawk Last. In my mind, I always picture how the race unfolds. A lot of speed, who sits where the trip. Now, granted, that doesn't always work that way. Somebody might have a mind of their own or different instructions, but you try to figure out who's going to the lead, where they're going to sit. Pace makes the race type of thing as well.
And that's another thing on both Stats and Thorograph that can help you. On the True Odds page, they actually have a simulated pace right there for you. So you can take a look at that. On Thorograph, if you look at the race shapes, they average out the first quarter miles of many of the recent replays from the horses competing. It will tell you on average how fast they go in the early stages. So if you want to know who's going to be right there on the lead or who tends to be in the first flight, that can really be helpful too. And for the trainers, it can be great. I mean, I send those charts to Dan every time he has a runner. If he's trying to figure out what his plan is or what his strategy is, he wants to know where everybody else is going to be, and I'll just screen grab that and send it along.
Nice. Georgie?
We want to thank our viewers. We got a couple of comments already. Mr. Coldwater Canyon, thanks for tuning in. Truth Seeker says, thank you, Christina, so much for the wonderful information. So big accolades there. Carl, I got to give big accolades to TVG. I mean, Christina, just a true professional, has been an exemplary on-air talent for years. But talking about horse racing, during COVID, TVG really came through and delivered a product. We were pretty much the only sport in town. I mean, around the whole country, people were focusing on horse racing. It was our time to really shine. I think TVG did just a spectacular job with wonderful hosts like Christina. But horse racing in general really began to pick up and a revitalized interest around the country, over there in Pennsylvania as well, Carl.
It did. It was a scary time, but TVG stepped up, and I think we all figured out how we could work from home with all these Zoom things. I didn't even know what Zoom was. But it did. It did. My father-in-law loves TVG. As you know, George, we watch it every night. My
Yep.
poor wife, I feel sorry for her because it crap out of the couch with the stick and everything. But TVG stepped up, and listen, the numbers were up during COVID on the gambling. I'm not a massive gambler, but we do enjoy it. We sit down here and we watch races every day. But I think Oaklawn was running at the time.
Yeah.
Voice in my head, so the numbers were big. There was some huge prices. Great superfecta. I'm a superfecta guy, and but kudos to TVG, the team, and people don't realize this. TVG is a massive team, family organization out there, and it's really fun. And I have my app. I'm ready to rock and roll at any given time on the road. It doesn't matter. TVG's right there, tip of the hat. So I sure enjoy it.
All right, we're gonna enjoy your daily double pick. You got $100, Carl. Where are you going with your daily double?
Yeah, listen, this is a tough race. I'm gonna start in race 2 with a $25 double. I took 2 picks. I get jockeys. You wonder why jocks jump from one horse to the next. It's a big part because they want their jock on the right horse at the time. So in race number 2, I went with the 5 and the 4. The 4, Rosario rode 3 times like the last 3 starts. The horse has got good numbers. It's Baltus. Baltus is superb everywhere. He's over the place. I don't know how he keeps up with it. But the horse is coming off a turf sprint, going back to the dirt, shorten up, and it's a great angle. And then I'm going to go to the outside to Christine Mulhall's horse. Christine had a lovely winner the other day of that horse that she had saved. Although we are in Pennsylvania, we're keeping up with you all out there. So. I went to Christine because Rosario jumps on this horse. Again, Rosario, no matter where Joel goes, he is magnificent. And you saw it when he comes back to California, everybody wants him. And he's the go-to guy for a lot of big trainers out there. So I went with the 5-4 in race 2 and into race number 3, maidens. I love maidens. And I went to 2-4, yes, in race 3. It's Peter Hurton's horse. I like Peter Hurton. Pratt jumps on this, taking over for the reins over from Mario. Again, Pratt, what can you say? You can't say enough good things about him. Another great rider. And then to Michael's horse, McCarthy. I think the horse is going to jump up better this time, coming off a good place finish at Los Alamitos last time. I really like the outside horse too, Simon's, but I think Simon's horse will be better going longer, but I'm going to stick with the 2-4 here. So my double is 5-4 in race 2 with the 2-4 in race 3. Let's get her done.
Let's get her done. Lady Mystify comes out of a key horse, key race. Freedom Flyer came back and was so impressive with a win out of that 3rd place finish. So key race, and now you got Pratt. Nothing to take away from Mario Gutierrez, but Pratt, obviously, one of the leaders year in, year out here at Santa Anita. So jockey upgrade. Of course, all these 2-year-olds now moving to 3-year-olds are now eligible for Lasix. So you're going to see a lot of 3-year-olds with first-time Lasix, which is just, you're going to see plenty of that. And that a lot of positives in Lady Mystify's corner. And here's to a beautiful lady right now who's wonderful on TVG. Chappie?
Yeah, Christina. And by the way, obviously, Pete Hurton and Michael McCarthy, much better second time out as well. So not that I'm on his side. I'm on your side, Christina. So where are we going with our double?
Well, I started in the same race, actually, and we could both hit this. It's pretty similar. So I singled in the first leg with the 5, Hoditude, for Kristen Mulhall. I think that she is the horse to beat. Her thoroughgraph numbers are faster than anything anybody else in there has run so far, and she seems to be in good form right now. The filly that she ran second to last time, Acting Out, she's 3 for 5 for Art Sherman, and she'll be in the Kaluka and Queen a little bit later. She'd actually be my top selection in the feature today as well. So I think you're going to learn a lot about the stakes race based on what Hoditude can do in race 2. So I'll single her to start. And then I also like Lady Mystify in the second leg. So that's how Carl and I could both hit this double. I thought of the horses with experience. She was the most impressive to me. She had the best equibase speed figures. She really battled all the way down the length of the stretch there at Los Al, and it's such a long stretch. a very difficult place to debut and difficult to debut a winner. And as you pointed out, Chappie, Peter will be the first one to tell you that his horses improve second time out. And then I use Class Reunion. I would encourage everybody to head online to take a look at her works with our friends at XBTV there in the First Family. Boy, she could be in the Kentucky Oaks, this filly. I mean, I think she's that good, and she hasn't even run yet. She worked heads up with As Time Goes By, who's one of the more highly regarded 3-year-olds in Baffert's barn. And she outworked Varda not long ago. Varda's already a Grade 1 winner. So I think Class Reunion, she's up against it because all of these other fillies have experience and they have good experience. But it's Bob Baffert. She's well-bred, and she looks like a runner in the mornings.
I love it. Great info all around, Georgie. So we're down to the tiebreaker. We're down to the tiebreaker then, right, buddy?
All right, let's go. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors. We're going to go. You guys, while we do the rock, paper, scissors, we're going to go to race number 9. So if you turn to race number 9 while we're doing rock, paper, scissors, you guys are going to get to pick one horse. And in case you guys end up in the tie, whichever horse finishes in front of the other, that person will move on to the next round. All right, ready? Chappie. There we go. 1, 2, 3. You win, Chappie.
All right. Christina, you get to go first.
Ay, pressure. Okay. Hold on. Okay. The 11. Mr. Karras will be my top pick for the tiebreaker in the last.
Okay. 11 in the last. Carl?
Yeah, mine was going to be the 11. I'll go to 5. Inner Beauty, Jeff Mullins.
All right. Well, hopefully it won't come down to that. Hopefully you guys will make a lot of money during the meat of the day. We had a fantastic day yesterday. It was funny because, sometimes you just got a feeling. I walked out in the 6th race and I saw Eric Kruljack yesterday. Hadn't seen him all year. I was like, hey, Eric, Happy New Year. How's your son? Ba-da-ba. Hey, we started talking and that. I went in bed. Then I went out to see the race with Eric, and he comes through with a 99-1 shot. Like, come on, man. I was getting a sign from above, and I didn't heed it. Goodness gracious. And that Pig 5, what did that Pig 5 pay?
$133,000. Don't remind Christina because she needed the 11 badly.
I needed the pipey at 17-1.
Yeah.
Wow, that would have been huge too. Hey,
thanks a lot, George.
Thank both our guests. We really sincerely respect you both. I love you both. Carl, we had so much fun when you were here. I loved being a jockey agent and hanging out at your barn. It was just spectacular. Hung out a lot with Dan Blacker at that time as well. Just a phenomenal trainer, a wonderful man. You guys are perfect together. Carl, congratulations on the kid and the marriage. And thank you very much both for being on the show with us. Chappie, any last thoughts?
No, it was a lot of fun today, but I hope everybody who listened, you got some really good information today. I think we'll do well, but no matter what, just how to bet, what to look for, two very, very sharp handicapping minds. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. I appreciate it. Nice to see you. Christina, say hi to Dan and all the family, and keep TVG going and have fun doing what you're doing.
I will. It's great to see all of you as well. And Carl, I want to meet your little guy. I have a 3-year-old too. She's my youngest, but she's a boss. I'll tell you that much. She's pretty fiery because she is the youngest.
Note, end it with this. Dr. Sheehy, who owned the Kinsale King at the time, has always been in my life since I left LA, and I'm glad to say that half my barn or more is owned by Sheehy out here in Pennsylvania due to COVID, because when Sanita stopped, he had to move horses. But hopefully we'll get back out there. We got some nice California breds. I'm going to give it to you right now, George. Miss Sprinkles. Keep your eyes open for Miss Sprinkles. Follow me on Facebook. She's really special. She just turned 3 and she's working lights out. We could be flying bonus.
I will be thanking you. And I want to thank all our great fans here at Santa Anita for a great meet so far and for being with us. We'll see you next week. Have a great, great day at the Great Race Place.
Thanks, guys.